Hi, my name is Kyle Becker. I'm your child's U.S. History, Advanced U.S. History 9 teacher for the first semester of the 2019-2020 school year. I'm just going to walk you through some of the aspects of the class, the blended aspect, and just generally what you can expect, what your student can expect um, for the next 18 weeks. Just a little bit about me. This is my 16th year teaching at Linn-Mar High School. My wife teaches at Oak Ridge. My kids go to Excelsior and Linn-Mar. My wife and I are both Linn-Mar alums, so we're a Linn-Mar family through and through. In terms of content, we are going to try and get as close to the present as we can get. It's essentially a continuation of the eighth grade social studies class. They stopped in the Civil War. We'll pick up right after that with industrialization, the Gilded Age, and at the end of the first quarter in October, we will actually get through the Great Depression. So Era 8 is going to be divided. We'll start the second quarter with World War II, and then we'll get as close to the present as we can get in January when the class is over. Writing is a big focus in the class, and to do that, to work on our writing, we're going to use what we call document-based questions, and these are taken from old AP US history exams. So we're going to work on not just writing about history and not just writing what happened, but defending a particular point of view, answering a specific question with a specific answer, and defending that using pieces of evidence. So they'll use documents, they'll use primary sources, use secondary sources, stuff that they've learned in class. And again, we'll be doing things throughout, doing activities and building towards actually writing full essays during the second quarter of the class. And again, I took those from previous AP tests. So if they take AP World as a sophomore, this will be good practice for that. And to sort of test where they're at and give us some feedback and guide their development in their writing. They'll be assigned a paper in the first couple weeks of the class. In terms of assessment, unit tests, unit quizzes, a lot of writing on the tests. I like to give them an opportunity to explain what they've learned. And certainly if writing is an issue, that's something we'll be working on, and I can work with individual students if that's a concern. Certainly don't want that to get in the way of showing what they know. There will be in-class projects, bigger projects, individual, what we call core assignments, were kind of like our homework assignments, not every day certainly, but 1 or 2 per unit. Usually give them 2 or 3 days to work on that. We'll look at their notebooks to make sure that everything is organized. One of the big things we want to focus on here is that learning isn't a one-time thing, and so if students need it, they can revise in tests and quizzes and homework, the core assignments, really anything except for the quarterfinals, just because grades are going to be due. If they don't like how they did, if they didn't show sufficient progress towards our learning goals, they can certainly work and they show evidence of additional learning, then their grade will reflect that. This is something I'll talk about with the students, but test and quiz revisions, we're gonna have a short meeting about that, and hopefully trying to avoid maybe any need for revisions in the future. Just like every class, just like you guys are used to from the middle school, we'll use our proficiency scales 4, 3, 2, 1. Students oftentimes ask me, do I have to get a level 4 to get an A in the class? No, you don't. A level 3 is a 90%, level 4 is 100%, or level 3.5 is 95%. So you don't even have to get to level 4 to get an A in the class. You just have to be getting there. You get past level 3 essentially. Level 3 is I know the information, can use it, can apply it. Level 4 is showing evidence of their own thinking, their own analysis, their connections, making connections between eras or between topics. And if they show, some evidence of that, you can get your A. So that's definitely where we want everybody, and I'm excited about helping every student get there. The only other thing that goes into the grade that I haven't mentioned yet is the employability scale. Basically there, and I'll show you the scale here. They'll have a copy of this in their binder. It basically keeps them accountable for how they do class, what they do in the classroom. apart from the learnings, because this stuff is important too. So in terms of participation, preparedness, work completion, following classroom expectations, they'll get a grade every other week, a 10-point grade every other week on this, and it will be roughly equivalent to a test grade by the end of the quarter. So it's not going to determine their grade, but it'll influence it and keep kids accountable for, how they do the class, not just in addition to what they've learned. And our textbook we have classroom copies of the textbook, and they will have online access as well. And with our computers this year, that'll be really nice, I think, since everybody has a computer, everybody has a textbook with them wherever they go. So the information for that will be provided to students. It will be on my PowerSchool Learning page, be on the syllabus, and that will be a pretty easy process. We really advise everybody to use PowerSchool Learning as much as possible. Every single day of this class has a PowerSchool Learning page with learning targets, activities, assignments, copies of what was handed out. Information goes up a unit at a time, so you can kind of look ahead if you need to, but not too far ahead that you get kind of distracted. This is a great way to make up work if days are missed. If a kid's sick, you can go right onto PowerSchool Learning for the day that you missed, and you know exactly what you need to do. If that's confusing or if there's questions about that, obviously you come and ask me, but that's your first step, and it's a great way for parents to keep current with what's going on in class. In terms of the blended learning, once we get going after kind of our training period for the first couple weeks, 1 to 2 days per week will be release days, in which students will come in here, check in, just so I know that they're here. And if they're released, they'll go to one of the commons areas in the building somewhere and do their work there. 3 to 4 days a week will be traditional classroom days. In order to be released, students need to have at least a 73% in class, so that's a C. At least a C. Anything under that, they have to stay in the classroom. You need to have all of your work in. So if you have any later or any missing work, I'm going to have you stay in here so that you can do the class material and then get caught up. And the previous release day's work does need to be completed. So if you blow something off from the previous release day, haven't done that, you're going to need to stay in here and again get caught up. Excuse me. It is, of course, acceptable to stay in the classroom if that's what you want to do. You can meet all those requirements. You want to stay in the classroom and be able to ask questions, and you're just more comfortable in here. That's totally fine. So I'm not kicking anybody out. They just have the freedom to do sort of what they want to do there. And what's great about this is that it really provides students with flexibility and some control over their own learning. And if they have a Spanish quiz that they want to study for, go ahead and study for it and do your history stuff later, or do your history stuff now and then. So anyway, it gives students some flexibility, and I had good success with that last year, and I'm really excited to continue to develop that aspect of this particular section of this class. So if you guys have, and if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. My email is kbecker@linn-mar.k12.ia.us. My school phone number is 447-3473. Please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm looking forward to getting going in this class and meeting everybody and having a great semester.